So a couple of weeks ago during the on-track event, I picked up the IS-4. I was hoping to pick up the ST1 as well, but that would have required me to hell grind through the KV4, which I wasn't prepared to do. It's not a bad tank. Certainly a lot better than I remember it being last time I played it, which was on test. Unfortunately, I've had absolutely shitty luck in it so far, insofar as teams go, and I'm running like a 41% win rate on it from about 15 games, which is terrible. I mean, it's a very small sample size, but it's just not a good start to a new tier 10. Regardless of that, I don't think the tank is the problem. I think so far the players have been the problem. It's obviously not that fast, which doesn't help, but it's a good solid heavy, and in some situations, particularly on maps like Ensk, you can really be a thorn in the enemy team's side. So I head straight to the Thunderdome, knowing my armor will help me there. The enemy Waffenträger has been spotting the next street over, so I'm careful not to expose my side to him. I would like to dive on that E75, but I don't want to get clipped into by that thing. So I wait for the E75 to back out a little, and then making sure the Waffenträger can't actually see around that corner, I duck in to get a shot, finish him off, and then the 5120 and the IS-8 show up. So I decide to get on this corner and side scrape it, since the Waffenträger is busy looking out across the plaza, I think, towards Dessau. He's putting in shots from there. It's also getting hit from the M103 behind me. So, as I'm trying to wrangle my tank into position, I do get tracked by the T28 Proto, and that lets the AMX put a shell into my driver. As soon as I get that track repaired though, I put myself in a side scrape, and now I'm basically invincible. You can see the T28's really struggling, the IS-3 can't pen me either. Took a bad shot there, I hit the wrong side of the IS-8's pipe and it just bounced straight off, but it did force him to reconsider his plan of coming around the corner. So I pop that, get a shot into that Proto because he's irritating me. The IS-3 runs away. I was hoping this 5120 would get brave and come around the corner, but instead the T30 does. He bounces off me while I put a shell into him and track him on the corner. So I just bounced the T30 shell to the face. You can see this thing's got pretty strong armor. And that's been the pattern so far. I will bounce a hell of a lot of incoming fire, but eventually my team will let me down, and so it will all be for nothing. However, in this situation, my team is actually doing really well. As the enemy team potatoing out, they've actually got a guy with a team kill. And we've got the majority of their tanks bottled up in their end of the Thunderdome, with Dessau on their flank, along with the 704 now, keeping them in there. So I hadn't seen the T30 pop back out for a while, so I decided to chance leading my side scrape and coming out looking for shots. I know the side armor of a T28 Proto is very, very thin. I can overmatch it, or if not overmatch it, I can certainly pen it through the side at some ridiculous angles. So I got one shot into him there. T57 comes around the corner. He does get two shots of his 4 actually through my armor. Kills my driver again, but he takes 968 damage just to get those 2 damaging shots into me. I got a bigger gun than him. So the enemy are down to 3 tanks, and I just tag the T30 in the back as he runs away. I was hoping for a shot on the Foch here, but unfortunately, by the time I was loaded and my aim bloom had settled, our T30 shell arrived first. So, not a huge damage game. 3,500 damage in a tier 10 heavy on Ensk is not really a huge amount, but the amount of incoming fire that bounced off my plate was pretty significant, and it shows as well just how nasty a side-scraped IS-4 can be. This is probably one of the most irritating tanks in the game to deal with, along with the IS-7. The IS-7's irritating mostly across its frontal arc, but it does have some of that spaced armor on the side, and the turret is just complete bullshit. I'm not saying bullshit in a bad way, it should be, but it's irritating to try and deal with. The IS-4 is just all over, very, very thick armor, very well sloped. They're very difficult if you have to face them down frontally or even from an angle on the side. Once you actually get in beside them, they're not so bad. But if they do find a decent piece of cover to side scrape off of, you're not going to be able to do much against them. So in that situation, if my team hadn't been putting so much pressure on, the enemy team should have really gone around me. But obviously, because my team played quite well and took control of the map, they weren't able to. So I was quite happily just sitting in that spot, dishing out damage all game.